Hello everyone, my name is Wayne, and in this episode I'm going to share with you guys how I shoot my product B-roll. Cue the montage. So I'm going to section this video to 4 parts: motion, background, lighting, and lenses. These are the 4 elements I consider when brainstorming on how to shoot a product B-roll. With product shots, to me it's more interesting when there's motion. When I say motion, this encompasses both camera movement and also product movement. For camera movement, I use a few tools. My favorite gear for this one is the Rhino slider, which I use to get arcing shots like these, and also dolly shots like these. This slider is pretty expensive, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend this, but there are more budget-friendly options out there. I also use a table dolly to get smooth table shots like these. Alternatively, using a cloth to help your camera slide will also work. For product movement, I use a rotating turntable that I got from Amazon. What's cool about this is it has an LED light in the middle, and it looks really dope when you use it for less reviews like these. I think this piece of gear is one of the best investments I've made, and I feel that this really ups the production quality of my product B-roll shots. When I say background, this includes both tabletops and backdrops I use. For backdrops, I currently use a black and a red seamless paper from Savage. I've used these for client shoots before, so I just started with these. I'm probably gonna buy different color rolls down the line, but a cool trick to get more colors out of these is to use gels. It's a lot cheaper, and I think the results are pretty dope. For my top-down table shots, I just fused 4 1x6 inches board that I got from Home Depot as a movable desktop. I then stained the 2 sides with different colors. For this side, I actually torched a little to get this pattern right here. I also got this tabletop for approximately 15 bucks in the As Is section of IKEA. That's actually a pro tip right there. You can easily find tabletops for half off in that section. I use this one if I want a more cleaner tabletop look. If I need a black reflective table, I use a high density polyethylene sheet that I got from Tabs Plastics. This is pretty expensive in Amazon, and most of them are just 12x12s. The one I got is 24x47 inches, and it only cost me about 9 bucks. I'm gonna link the store below if you guys want to check it out. If I need something more reflective than that, I also have a plexiglass that I got from the same spot. I use various slides for my product B-roll. Also, please note that I've owned these slides for the longest, so I know there are cheaper alternatives out there. For the top-down table shots, I use an Aperture 120D with a Studio Pro 24x32 softbox. I like this setup because the light is soft and diffused, which is great for hiding shadows. For my backdrop light, I use an Aperture HR672. I like this light for my backdrop because it can give me a spotty look and also flood the background if I need to. If I really need the light with tighter beam angle, I use a Came TV Boltzmann B30. This is a small LED Fresnel, probably one of my favorite lighting fixtures. It has a focusable beam and has barn doors, which is really useful for shaping light. Then I use an Aperture Tri-8 with a softbox as my portable key or fill. Really, I just use this as a general lighting fixture to add more light to a shot. If I need simple lighting on a table, I like using my CN160s. I like these because of the form factor. You can easily prop this up on a table without stands, and they're one of the cheapest LEDs you can get. Lastly, one of my favorite techniques that I learned from Shanks Effects is using flashlights. If you see sunburst looking shots in my product B-roll, that's a flashlight right there. Maybe 60% of the time, I use the Lumix 12-35 for my product B-roll. For the top down and other table shots, I like using this because it is light and it can go wide enough to cover what I need. For a more close-up shot where I need shallow depth of field, I like shooting with my Canon 50mm 1.4. I just love the look and the bulk of this lens. For macro shots, I don't own a macro lens because they can get pricey, but a great tip is to just get macro filters. They're only about 20 bucks, and the results are good enough for the types of shots I need. Depending on the framing, I like pairing these with a Canon 50mm, or for more tighter shots, I like using these with my Rokinon 85mm lens. Lastly, if I need flares, my go-to for that is the Helios 44-2. This is my all-time favorite vintage lens. I just love the color, the bokeh, and of course how easily you can get flares out of this lens. Alright you guys, that's it for this episode. Just a piece of advice, don't get too caught up with the gears I'm using here. Understand the logic and the concepts, and buy the gear that works for you and your budget. Also, don't limit this to just YouTube stuff. These are the same techniques I use for my freelance work, so just be creative with it, experiment, and do your own remix. So yeah, I hope this helped out some of y'all. If it did, I would appreciate it if you guys like and subscribe. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.